ぎちゃん、なぎちゃん。見せて見せて。
It is allowed on Chub AI. I mean, I've seen a lot of people marketing Discord channels, but that's also Discord servers, but that's also because they're relevant to the person who's making the bots, right? So, you know, yeah. You know what? You do you, right? I am relevant to you, I guess. You are my only viewer and mod.
もちろんばい。深見ちゃんに見せてあげたくて撮ったばい。
In Nagi's hand is a sleek cell phone device. Fukami looks over, and her cheeks turn rosy-colored. It seems that she's fully recovered from her cold.
素敵。なにこれ。ちょっとずるい。私、毎日川下りしてるのに、昨日だけとか。
さて、それだ。ああ、ナギ。よければ、携帯を回してみんなに見せてくれ。よか
ったよ。
Everyone cheers as they see it. The group members all have big smiles on their faces. I'm not so carefree as to miss the gigantic hint in front of me.
虹は純粋な偶然だが、川下り線の進行に合わせての列車の鉄橋通過。これは素晴らしいアイディアだった。
私。
It seems she still isn't used to the praise. Paulette's still red and facing the ground.
乗務もあるけど、船頭さんの相鉄くんも見てみたくて、本当にそれだけだったんです。
の。
Her statement and the unexpectedness of it causes my thoughts to freeze up for a moment. Happy, 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 happy. That single word almost takes over my entire brain. I force myself to move my mouth to continue talking.
理由はどうあれ、これだけの満足度を出すイベントを観光振興につなげる方はないかと僕は考えた。
キハレイナナ S も美しく可愛らしい車両ですが、川下り線から見たとき、86はより絵になるかと存じます。
Everyone nods in agreement. Even Paulette and Rana do so. 8620 would run over the bridge while spitting out smoke, but it'd be incredibly grand. It would be incredibly grand from this angle down on the water.
川下りと鉄道との連携。これにマイントレジャーも絡めていきたい。
絡みたいです。
If the Kami jumps up, if I can get this reaction from the rest of the Ohito citizens, the tourism promotions would surely be a success.
術線炭鉱廃液と鉱山鉄道と復活させ、まずはその区間をキハレイナナに案内してもらう。
レイナ、お任せされちゃいますよ。
廃宿舎群で謎解きをしてもらい、しかる後、トロッコ移動で坑道入り口へ最短体験をしてもらう。
I've explained up to this point, not a single person raises any doubts.
掘り返した石炭は宝箱に詰め、キハレイナナにはそのまま湯の井駅へ向かってもらう。
お人よに戻るんじゃないんですか？
その通り。そこからは川下りでお人よまでを移動してもらう。
けど強制だと遠回りでお金取られてるって印象持たれちゃうんじゃ。
おう。
Hibiki's exactly right. They may be interested in the coal mines, but they may not necessarily be interested in the downstreaming.
戻りの線路が使えんことにすればええばい。例えば落盤が起きたとかなんとかで。あ、そっか。全部が一つのアトラクション、ストーリー仕立てにしちゃえばいいんだ。
Leaning A hint from Nagi's words. Hibiki opens up her sketchbook. She suddenly stops.
なんかストーリー。
無理を言うな。僕は現実しか見ん男だぞ。
亡霊。廃宿舎軍や炭鉱に亡霊が出ることにしたらどうでしょうか。
亡霊？
炭鉱夫さんたちの亡霊です。各地行動から大切な石炭が盗まれたと思って怒って暴れる。
暴れて線路にまで溢れ出して、キハレイナナは湯の院に退避するしかなくなるのか。
そうです。そんな感じで。亡霊はまずかとよ。
Makoto quietly but definitively shoots down the idea. As if telling a group of kids, enthralled with their games, that it's time to go home.
炭鉱に苦か思い出を持っとる層をいたずらに刺激することになるけんね。
ああ、それは確かに。
言われてみればそうですね。なら妖精ってことでどうでしょう。
At the end of the day, they're just trying to lie. They're creating a fake story to bring in tourists. Paulette turns the idea on its head in an instant.
それ素敵です。鉱山妖精とってもいいです。
Yeah, the coal fairies. What? Fukami jumps at the idea.
鉱山妖精は水を渡れないから川下り船お人よまでの脱出のお役に立つです。
What do you... I thought fairies were meant to be a good thing. What do you mean, escape?
川岸に鉱山妖精が押し寄せてくると面白いかも。僕たちの石炭をどうするつもりだって。ずるいぞ。戻ってこい。とか言わせると、川に入れないこと、きっと誰にでもわかる、です。
Paulette and Fukami play off one another. One loves fantasies, another loves to read. By building off the other's ideas, new ones are born.
川下りの途中で頭上の鉄橋を SL が駆け抜けていく。だけどそれは幻。もう走れないはずの8620。走れないのはもちろん石炭がないからです。
なるほど。掘った石炭を8620に上げるというオプションに、それならば大きなドラマが加わるわけか。
Paulette nods. I don't know when she started, but Hibiki's just been furiously drawing away in her sketchbook.
お人よに到着できたら、そこで一旦ツアーはおしまい。その後は、相鉄くんが言った通りにオプションで。
Naturally, they could also take the coal as a souvenir if they want. Who the fuck wants to have a piece of fucking coal as a souvenir? Bro, anyone who's handled coal/charcoal knows that that shit gets everywhere. Alright? No one wants it. No one would voluntarily keep a chunk of coal, alright? Let me out. Dale, reminder to take care of yourself and get some rest. Stream another slave day for me, so poof. Alright. Have a good day. We could even introduce them to craftsmen who offer to turn their coal into some kind of accessory. Okay, I guess that would be good.
船から見た幻の SL を気にかけてくれるお客様は石像機関庫に案内し8620と出会ってもらいます。石炭をあげて生き返ってくれる8620に乗れたらきっとすごくいいって思うです。
8620を走らせてお人よ湯の井を往復するのか。
A smile. They all get what I'm asking. Paulette appears genuinely happy about it.
そうですね。妖精たちにその姿を見せて石炭はきちんと使われているって安心させてあげる。それで 鉱山妖精は喜んでくれて、鉱山に笑顔で帰っていく。と、すごくいいです。
ならば、エキストラを頼む感じになるのかな。
いいえ、そうてつくん。エキストラじゃなくて、キャスト。マイントレジャーのキャストとして募集をかけましょう。
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last part of your sentence.
いいえ、そうてつくん。エキストラじゃなくて、キャスト。マイントレジャーのキャストとして募集をかけましょう。
You know, I've played this game so much, and I am not used to their mouths moving. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because if I move to a different visual novel that doesn't do that, what am I going to think? I mean, I guess if I move to Amazing, I didn't feel it that different when I moved to Amazing Grace, so I guess it's I don't need to worry about it.
ああ、その方が確かに人は集まりそうか。
はい。職人さんたちや業者さんたちと無関係のごく普通の若者たちにきっと集まってもらいます。
So if I make a character bot from a visual novel you played, would you be okay with me putting your link tree in the character notes of the specific bot? I mean, I guess.
おお。
なるほど。妖精でしたら、老人よりも若者の方が、より雰囲気を出せますか。
She's right, but that's not all. It creates a higher labor force of the younger demographic. That means, the meaning of that would actually be rather significant. The mine treasure could come to be known as a place that hires any Ohitego treasure citizen.
線から面だな。
I think it is allowed. Yeah, I guess. It all started with the tiny point that is Hachiroku. Which then turned into various things and ultimately expanded to the railway tracks. And Paulette, as the consummate politician, expanded that line to a plane.
けどね。
A soft voice interrupts. A soft and quiet interjection as Paulette, as Makuta, by Makuta. She essentially serves as the adult in the room, because she's the oldest in the room.
まだいくらか、なんとかしなきゃいけんことがありよるよね。
いくらかとは。
一つ目は、8620の客車のこと。
それは私に心当たりが。
Mid-sentence, Paulette turned to Nagi.
さっきの写真、データをもらえる？きっと役に立つと思うから。よか
ばい！アドレスくれたら送っとく
ばい！ありがとう。よろしくね。
なんとかなるならそれはよし。よね。
A gentle smile. Makuta's eyes are pointed at Hachiroku.
私に何か。8620の運転は、86ちゃんとそうちゃんが担当すると？もちろんです。なら、そうばい！タイミング合わせ、どぎゃんすっとよ！
You'd kind of have to, yes.
No.
I thought of having Nagi keep an eye on things from the sky. Navi keeping an eye on things from the sky. But when I think about it, Navi will be following 8620 anyway, since it'll be in it. I'll be in it. I can't always be tied up with the downstreaming boats, though.
それも解決できます。レイナが川下り船に乗ればそれだけで。
Oh shit, it's been a while since someone followed while I was streaming. Thanks for the follow. Nexon Mary's... Is it Mary Slessor or Mary's Lasaw or 223. I'm still a little shocked that on your VOD channel on YouTube, that Uta route video is still the most viewed. I mean, yeah, I am surprised that the first 6 VODs on my channel are the most viewed VODs ever on my channel. VOD channel. Both channels, actually.
ああ、そうか。キハレイなのは、ポーレット一人でも動かせるものな。
です。お人よまでの戻りは無人の回送車両になるから、安全面のリスクも極限まで下げられますし。
A smile Makoto gives a completely different type of smile. She looks satisfied, but a part of her also seems sad for some reason.
ぽーちゃんに任せて、どうやら安心できそうよね。
Her eyes widen as if she's surprised. Maintaining her wide open eyes, Paulette looks straight at Makoto.
私、頑張ります。安心して任せていただけるように。
Maitetsu. Oh.
そうてつくん？
How many views do you get on a day? Do you get a day on your video analytics? Is there a specific visual novel that gets the most views recently? If you don't mind asking for the VOD channel. I mean, obviously the one that's been popping off, I guess, is Amazing Grace, right? And then alongside it, you've got Maitetsu, which barely gets anything except, I guess, the last VOD for Hibiki's route, which I still think is botted, right? Because, like, it doesn't make sense.
Ah,
My concentration is interrupted when Paulette calls for me. Not that I feel as if I'm being bothered or anything. Rather,
お疲れ様です。紅茶入れました。
ああ、すまんな。
maybe I should make a Kyrie bot then. I guess, yeah. But like, what's the overlap between people who play visual novels and people who want visual novel chatbots, right? Who use chatbots and want visual novel chatbots? Because, like, you'd think that if the overlap was big enough, then people would have already made visual novel chatbots, but that's not the case, right? So, like, you know, I guess you're introducing a new audience if that's the case. Drinking it without milk or sugar gives it more fragrance and flavor than I'm used to. I'm appreciative of her consideration. My fatigue and drowsiness seem to melt away as I drink the tea.
レイナは
Raina was helping Paulette out earlier, but she's nowhere to be found now.
もうとっくに寝ちゃいました。あの子、早寝を心がけてますから。
ああ。
I think I understand. Raina's fixated on sleeping early because she's worried about her napping more than anyone else.
しかし、それにしても早すぎ。あ、
You get what I mean, right? I mean, yeah. I don't lose anything and you might gain something from it. Yeah, basically. I look at the clock and am surprised by what I see. It's already past midnight. When did that happen? It's not, look, it's not like putting a link in the description of your chatbot is going to make people less want to use it, right? Like, most people aren't going to look at the description, and even if you do, it's more the quality of the chatbot that more people are focused on.
随分と根を詰めてしまっていたのだな。
My eyes are tired, and I can feel my back and arms getting stiff. This work is completely different from the downstreaming, but it needs just as much attention.
ありがとう、相鉄くん。
That single phrase. A whisper from Paulette's massages. A whisper from Paulette's massages and light. Oh, okay. Paulette massages and lightens my mind and body. Also, that most popular Uta video, I feel like I always see 487 on that video. It is like it is stuck there. I mean, you know, if people aren't looking for My Klutzy Cupid Uta videos, then, you know,
こんな遅くまで付き合ってくれて。
not really much I can do to help it.
いや、秘書業務を溜め込んでしまっていたのは僕だ。ただ単に自分の負債を返済しているに過ぎんよ。
それでも、やっぱりありがとう。秘書だって私が無理ってお願いしたんだから。
それは誤解だ。
Paulette also looks exhausted. Her eyes are droopy.
僕はこう見えて存外とわがままでな。やりたくないことは誰にどう願われたところでやらん。
そっか。そうなら嬉しいな。
She smiles while holding her cup with both hands. Paulette ducks her head and drinks some tea. The smell of sweet milk floats all the way over to me.
こんな時間にあれだけど、ちょっと話大丈夫ですか？
今日、今夜はここで区切りとしておく。寝て起きてまで疲労を持ち越したくはないからな。
じゃあ、私もここまでにしておきます。話っていうのは客車のことなんです。
というと、目処がついたのか？
つくかもなんです。広島からお話があって、つってつにもともとあった客車を。
For example, if you feel like you want more of a VN character after finishing their route, or the VN, you could go over to the chatbot version. I mean, yeah.
つってつ？
はい、つってつ。西津軽鉄道さんの愛称です。
I'm guessing that's really good news. With every statement, Paulette smiles more and more. I want to be happy about that, but honestly, I don't quite understand what's going on.
津軽といえば青森だよな。もともと青森にあった客車がどうして広島になど？
ちょっと珍しい客車だからです。廃棄処分になるところを電車姫様が買い取って。
電車姫とは確か広島の毛利電鉄のオーナーのことだったか。
そうです。正真正銘のお姫様で正真正銘のマイテツですから、あの人は。いつかどこか誰かが必要とする時のためストーブ客車を買い取り保存してくれてたんです。
ストーブ客車？
言っちゃった。
Apparently, she wanted to hold back for a dramatic effect. Paulette covers her mouth and grimaces as if she's failed at something. Even if she tried to hold back saying that, tried to hold off saying that for the sake of building suspense, I wouldn't have understood anyway.
ストーブ客車というのはなんだ？そのままストーブがついている客車でいいのか？
Don't tell me you're going into the yakiniku direction again.
はい、そうです。青森の冬の風物詩ですね。
冬の風物詩。お人よで言えば 球磨川下りのこたつ船になるわけだな。
そうですね。あれとよく似た感じです。
She nods with vigor.
こたつの代わりにストーブ、熊焼酎の代わりに日本酒、おつまみは、そこは大きく違いますね。
Paulette's gaze softens.
ストーブだから上で焼けるんですよ。スルメとかお餅とか。
ああ、それはいいな。
Okay, they're not going in the same direction, but they're getting there. They're a few steps away from copying Hachiroku's route. I don't hold my alcohol well, but I can easily imagine a situation where I'd be tempted to drink.
お餅、私それまで見たことがなかったんですよ。冬はいっつもフランクにいましたから。
おう。
ストーブの上に網が乗ってて、その端っこのお餅からいい匂いがして、ふーって膨れて。
She's describing one of her memories to me. The mental picture I create provides me a warm feeling inside.
触ってみたくて、でも触ったらやけどしそうで、じっと見てたらプシュンってしぼんで。
I'm fairly certain that the look Paulette has on her face now is the same one she had then. Her blue eyes glisten like that of a stream with the sun reflecting off of it.
でも車掌さんが裏返したらまたすぐに膨れて、もう私食べたくて食べたくて。
食べたのだろう。砂糖醤油か、それともきな粉か。
海苔とお醤油です。海苔の風味とお餅の味が熱々でふわって広がって美味しかった。
I'm starting to get hungry.
口もお腹もポカポカで、ストーブはカンカンに燃えてて、なのに窓の外では地吹雪で雪が舞い上がって真っ白で。
真冬の旅か。
はい、初めて日の元で過ごした冬でした。
She closes her eyes for a few seconds, like she's looking through a window into her past or something. Like she's literally looking through the window in the CG. Oh my god, the symbolism is out of this world.
生まれて初めて夜行寝台に乗ったのもその時でした。個室の B 寝台、パパが下の個室、私は上の個室で。
親子旅だな。
She nods in agreement, but a doubt crosses my mind. If it was the first time she spent winter in Japan, and prior to that she spent the cold months in France, without the E, Paulette's mother is a France, I believe. Is a Franc or whatever. She's French. Why wasn't she in France during that particular winter? And better yet, why was her trip not with Mama and Papa? Maybe it was something as simple as her mom simply didn't like trains.
パパが大好きだったんです。夜行寝台、夜明け。上野初の青森行きです。
I've always wondered about this, but whenever Paulette talks about her past, it always has to do with her. It's always with her dad, never her mum. Bro, I think it's because either her mum left or she's dead.
本当に降りた時から青森駅は雪の中で、乗り換えて五所川原っていう駅から津鉄に乗って。
What was your mother doing? I feel like that question isn't something I can ask all nonchalant.
単線でストーブ列車はとっても静かで、ガイドのおばさんの津軽弁初めて聞くのに懐かしくて。
there's no need to ask about something she's not voluntarily bringing up herself. I suppose I can just save that question for another day. That's what I'm saying. Just don't say anything until she brings it up herself, alright? That's the best way to go about this. Especially if it's something traumatic, like her mom actually died. I simply want to enjoy the vibe right now. A vibe that's really been created merely by how happy Paulette seems.
駅のホームも雪に埋もれて、駅名表も読めなくて、停車のたびレールロードが運転手に抱えられて出てきて。
Not fixated on that doubt about her mom has fixating on that doubt about her mom has changed my mood completely. Paulette's voice and expression are just super comforting. As if being warmed by the stove, her nose, head, and cheeks have a pink hue to them.
小さな体がコートと長靴でモコモコしてて、吹雪にも負けない声で駅名と停車時間を伝えてくれて。
Paulette lets out a quiet sigh. Her eyes are welling up as she gently smiles.
多分あれで、あの旅で私本当に鉄道とレールロード大好きになった。
そうか。
I don't quite understand that feeling, to be honest. But it's because I don't understand that a different sort of emotion comes to the surface of my mind from somewhere deep inside of me.
とても豊かな旅だったのだな。僕も経験してみたかった。
Yeah, unfortunately, the first train ride you ever experienced fucking crashed, and the only people who died were your family.
できますよ、経験。
Paulette's words catch me off guard. We both look surprised as we stare at each other for a few seconds.
つってつさんもストーブ列車もまだ現役です。観光列車として一番くらいに名高いですから。
そうなのか。
I have a lot of respect for them, especially considering what it's probably taken to get to that point. For a brief moment, I think about riding the coattails of their success, but then reconsider. If we tried riding the coattails of the best tourism trains in Japan, not only would we be seen as a cheap knockoff, but we'd never be able to compete with that kind of prestige and success.
しかし、現役というのならなぜストーブ客車が広島に引き取られているのだ？
単純な老朽化です。古くなったからよそから比較的新しい客車を買い入れてストーブ化した。
ところてん方式で不要になった旧客車を電車姫様が引き取って保存していたということか。
そうなんです。定期的に客車交換できるくらいにつってつさんは鉄道観光で成功してるんです。
Well, I opened the drawer and take something out.
ああ、プリントしたのか。ナギが撮った写真だな。
In the center of the rainbow is the red railway bridge, and Kiha 7 is smack dab in the middle running across it.
これを電車姫様にお見せしたら興味を持ってくださって、それでマイントレジャー計画についてもお話しして。
手応えがあったのか。
はい、すごく面白がってくれて、で、ストーブ客車を譲ってくれてもいいってお話になったんです。
しかし、なぜマイントレジャーの話でストーブ？いや、ひょっとすると石炭ストーブという発想か？
大正解です、相鉄くん。
In the winter, we can do a coal stove shoveling experience workshop. That's a new option to consider. We can simply keep it off during the summer. I'd love to jump at the opportunity, but
老朽化で一度は引退した。しかも長く使われてなかった客車か。
yes, so the cost of repair would be very big.
そうなんです。そこがお話しして相談したかったところで。
I can feel myself frowning.
電車姫様の保存車両ですから、いい状態だと思います。けど、あの方は SL には詳しくないとも思いますから。
煙などに対して問題が出てくるかもしれぬということか。
はい、ないとは断言できません。
念のため聞くが、他の客車の当てはあるのか？
もう少し新しいのもあるにはあるんですが、そっちは優勝になっちゃうんですよ。
ということは、広島の話は？
無償です。5菓子です。移送も九州に上陸するまではやってくれるそうです。
随分と気前のいい話だな。
マイントレジャーが稼働したら一番に招待してくれればそれでいいって。
Paulette makes a big smile.
鉄道を好きになってくれる人が増えれば、それは電車姫様にも嬉しいことだからって。
Ah, I think I understand. They're not mere colleagues in the same industry anymore. Paulette and the train princess are tantamount to comrades.
ならば、悩むまでもあるまい。もらおう。
ですよね。これっていいお話ですよね。やっぱり。
Paulette's expression lightens up. Ah, so that's why. She was worrying about it because she has strong feelings about either the stove passenger car or train princess. She thought that it might have skewed her judgment.
相談してもらえて光栄だ。
Paulette's normally cautious, and yet she requires my opinion and decision. It gives me pride and joy. Gives me pride and brings me joy that she values my input.
そう思ってもらえるの、私こそ光栄です。
She turns a little red and looks down. In the next moment, she looks upward with a determined look in her eye.
さっきの話、ストーブ列車を経験してみたいって。
ああ。
それよかったら、今度、落ち着いたら、経験ですから、
そうだな。この状況が落ち着いて、マイントレジャーが無事に立ち上がったら。
Paulette nods numerous times, and then she closes her lips. Her eyes are full of hope as she waits for my words.
その時には、僕と一緒に乗ってくれないか。青森、津軽の、津鉄さんのストーブ列車に。
へえ、それはとてもいい話に聞こえるね。おめでとう。
祝辞をもらうには早すぎる。客車が来ても運用できれば意味がない。
The moment I say that, Kisaki squints a little. It's not that she's happy. It feels as if she's sizing me up.
なら、ここに来たのは、運用準備の一環として、ということになるかな。
ありていに言えば、そういうことだ。
She instantly agreed to this appointment with a direct call. This must be proof of what Kisaki thinks of the mine treasure plan.
こちらの資料をご覧ください。
As usual, she seems quite distant, but Paulette is much more assertive this time. She hands over the materials before being asked, and also provides an explanation.
以上のように、テーマパーク化による雇用促進も行いたいと考えています。
となると、経費も随分と膨らんでくるのでは？
はい、概算ですが、開業から5年間の資金計画を作成してきました。
へえ。
Isaki's eyes look down on the paper given to her, and then they widen in surprisal at something. Gradually, she squints more and more, as if being overtaken by a bad mood.
この辺の線引き。君はしっかり意識してると思ってたのだけれど。
線引きって。
講師のさ。死が主体となるとは決まっていない事業案を、司職員を使って作らせるなどというのは。
いえ、使ってません。誰の手も。枕さんに見てもらってアドバイスももらいましたけど、基本的には私一人でこの資料は。
一人って。
You didn't expect that, did you? Possibly out of surprise, Kisaki's expression becomes stiff.
それなら、他の資料群も
マイントレジャーの施設やアトラクション関係は、相鉄くんが主体となって作成してくれてます。
つまり、それら以外は、君が主体というわけか。
A long sigh with a hint of disgust mixed in. Kisaki's frozen expression finally moves.
余計なお世話かもしれないが。いないポーレット。君はいつ寝てるんだい？
I mean, considering that her overworking herself to the bone was a main plot, was a point in Hachiroku and Hibiki's routes. I doubt it's different in Paulette's route.
いつって、夜から朝です。
はは。
具体的には、何時から何時まで？
それは日による感じで。
僕も、ある意味では同じような立場にいるから、わかるつもりだ。
A sense of heat I've never felt before is present in her gaze and words.
男社会で、有無を言わせず結果を認めさせるためには、多少の無理も必要だ。けど、それにしたって限度がある。
I mean, considering that she had to resign in 2 routes, she's probably going to resign in her own route too.
それは、ちゃんと無理しないようコントロールしてるつもりです。
そうかい？なら、余計なお世話だったね。
いえ、そんな、ありがとうございます。
お礼を言われることでもないさ。
Her tone goes back to the temperature I'm used to. Her gaze becomes sharp, and she turns back to the paper.
この資金計画、人口推移を極めて緩やかなものと想定しているけど、これは。
ご想像の通り、エアクラ工場誘致がなされないということを前提にした想定です。
僕の勤める銀行は、エアクラ工場誘致を推進している立場だけれど。
そのことはもちろん知っています。
Hang on, go back to what she just said. The bank I'm working for is on the side supporting the factory, you know. The bank you're working for, you mean the one that you're sitting in right now, that your dad owns. You could have just said, our bank is siding with the factory, right? Is on the side supporting the factory. Kisaki looks up from the documents and gazes straight at Paulette. Paulette doesn't turn away, though meeting her gaze instead.
でも、響ちゃんもあなたも、求めているのは、お人よの持続的発展のための最善策だとも認識してます。
マイントレジャー計画は、エアクラ工場誘致に勝る持続発展のための手段になると？
そうかどうかを判断してもらうために、資料を作成してきました。
Very Japanese of you. Kisaki looks at the paper one more time. She picks up a 3-color ballpoint pen and starts drawing lines and writing small notes in it. A little over 30 minutes pass. Kisaki had been looking through the materials silently, but she finally turns to us.
事業主体は株式会社形式での第三セクターを考えている。
Third sector. It's a public and private partnership for joint investment and joint management of the business. Considering the scale and mission, that would be ideal for the mission for the mine treasure operation.
はい、基本的には。ですので、熊本銀行さんにもご出資いただければと願っています。
他の出資者は首都お人用鉄道、右太一酒造元、球磨川下りといったあたりになるのかな。
美濃笠果樹店さん、旗ボイラさんもご検討くださってます。それと個人では赤井宮司さん。
赤井宮司、あの人が。
はい、他にも永山寺のご住職夫妻がそれぞれに、それとトロル湯のご主人も。
なるほど。少額からの受付で出資しやすくすることにより、私たちのマイントレジャーという意識を持ってもらう。
Kisaki sees right through our first reason on why we chose the third sector format.
その上で公的支援もフル活用して余裕を持つ。技術継承炭鉱とは面白い視点に気づいたね。
それは相鉄くんのアイディアなんです。
相鉄の？
うん。炭鉱について、炭鉱師について。僕も僕なりに勉強したのだ。
There's been a large decrease in domestic demand for coal, but it's been confirmed that the supply of it is still ample. That's why we have to maintain our mining technologies in case the demand for coal is revived.
北海道は釧路にあった技術継承炭鉱も、しかしエアクラの発展、普及によって閉山された。
だからマイントレジャーにその役割をも負わせる。そうすれば国からの補助金も期待できるというわけだね。
そう。そして旧10銭炭鉱の現所有者はお人よしであり、補助金制度はまだ生きている。
On that specific topic, we didn't have the experience to put together all the necessary information, so we got help from Miyamoto. Being the previous mayor's right-hand man, that person carries influence with all the city hall employees.
僕は市長秘書だ。お人よしが受給可能かもしれない補助金については、当然、秘書の職務として調査した。
職務としてね。なるほど。その結果は？
技術継承炭鉱の認定が取得可能である見込みは大きい。これほどに状態のいい炭鉱は、もはや残っていないそうだ。
なるほどね。
Kisaki closes her eyes. With her eyes still closed, she whispers,
個人としては、僕も出資をしたいと思う。議会を通過し、市の出資が確定した後の話だけれど。
おお。
ありがとうございます。
いや、相鉄の言葉を借りるわけでもないけれど、謝辞をもらうにはまだ早すぎるよ。
She hits the paper with her pen and then turns to me with a sharp glare.
この計画の成功には、熊本銀行の出資も必須となる。けれど、その判断は支店長レベルではできない。
なら判断は支店長レベルより上ですから。
熊本銀行頭取、宝生元忠によるわけか。
そうだね。そして、宝生元忠氏は、エアクラ工場誘致自体を目的としているようだ。
あ、
Establishing the factory is his primary goal, not the development of Hoitoyo or Hitoyo. If Kisaki's words are true, then it'll be difficult to obtain the loan from Kumamoto Bank.
それが熊銀にとって最大の利益を見込める計画だからか。
もちろん。熊本銀行は、一私企業、営利企業であるのだから。
営利が目的である以上、方針転換もありますね。仮に利益が見込めない状況に陥ってしまうなら。
それもまあ、当然のことだと思うね。損失を意図的に出せば背任だもの。
In the next instant, Paulette has a relieved look, while Kisaki appears smug. It seems that they've come to a mutual understanding, but I have no idea what's going on.
例えばどういう状況だ？確実に利益が見込めなくなるというのは。
マイントレジャー議案が通過して市が事業主体の一員になればそれだけで。
うん。
Kisaki scoffs at me.
マイントレジャー計画の主体は相鉄じゃないのかい？川下りをアトラクションの一つとして。
ああ、そうか。河川使用の許可か。
The use of the Kuma River for downstreaming on a specific range and the use of the boat dock are obtained through a permit granted to the Kuma River Downstreaming Company. But as of right now, no one has obtained the permit for the riverbank around the area where the aircraft factory is to be built.
川と河川敷の使用許可は地方整備局が原則該当自治体の意見をもとに出すものですから。
市が事業主体となれば、少なくとも球磨川下り流域の河川敷の占有使用許可を得ることができる。
占有は空いたと同じ意味だからね。そうなれば他の誰も球磨川下り流域河川敷の用地利用をできなくなる。
つまりエアクラ工場誘致を完全に阻止できるわけだな。
No matter how big the business may be, they would have to give up if they weren't approved to proceed. Although I'm working as a politician's secretary, I had no idea how powerful governance can be. Really.
ただ、動くなら急いだ方がいい。宝生元忠という人は完全な実力主義だから。
もう。
工場誘致を進展させられない無能な支店長は解任し、自ら陣頭指揮を取るくらい簡単にやるということさ。
あ。
It may be a misunderstanding, but could it be that Hosho Kisaki she may have delayed the movement of the aircraft factory to get a better idea of our plans and potential?
そして、無能な支店長とは違い、
Excuse me?
有能な頭取は国政レベルに働きかけられる。
あ、
そうだね。その理解で正しいよ。一度出した許認可はさすがに覆せないだろうが。
Upon seeing Paulette's stern face, Kisaki appears to nod with satisfaction.
許認可については、該当自治体の意見を聞くという原則程度、いくらでも曲げられてしまうものらしいから。
では、そのキャストについてはどのように？
It's the obligatory assembly meeting that we have to have in every route.
お人よ市民を中心にした公募採用を検討しています。
それはつまり、 雇用促進につながるということになりますか？
Only three more days until the last session. We didn't have time to play tricks on the assembly, but Paulette is doing well with the questioning. Not having hecklers is huge. Everyone is earnestly trying to decide the benefits and drawbacks of the plan. Paulette doesn't have her own political party. The supporters of the previous mayor, Hinai, had scattered to different parties. The ones supporting Paulette now are limited only to the ones who opposed the aircraft factory.
客車は無償譲渡されるということですが、これは？
広島電気鉄道様がマイントレジャー計画への全面的な賛同を示してくださっています。
As of right now, there are very few people who provide full support to the mine treasure plan. This assemblywoman and few others have given their support. The remaining members are waiting to see, or have clearly disapproved, are waiting and seeing. Still, the aircraft factory supporters aren't a monolithic group. There are some who see that the mine treasure plan can provide greater profits than with the factory. Those types of people are not fixated on staying with the other supporters. That's why we focused on a smaller number of points. It's a matter of how many points we can gain during this hearing through our allied assemblymen, and how many of the questions from the opposing assembly members we can get through. In that sense, this assembly meeting could possibly be ideal with how it's going. The quality of the plan and the chance for success will lead directly to this plan passing or not in the assembly.
なるほど。ご計画について理解させていただきました。ありがとうございました。
これにて斉藤議員の質問時間を終わります。
The proceedings continue on. We've already told the chairman of the movements of Hosho Mototada. We have to get approval by the last session. We can't do that if we can't do that, it would make the assembly itself meaningless. Because the chairman is faithful to his duties, he conducts the proceedings properly.
お人よの未来を考える会、新津議員、質問をどうぞ。
Being called out by the chairman, a man with a thin build heads to the podium. Assemblyman Nitsu. He is one of the upper-ranked assemblymen who supports the aircraft factory.
三席形式を取ると言っていますが、結局のところ利益が出た場合はお人よ鉄道にも入りますよね。
He picks a fight right off the bat, but Paula remains calm and answers.
はい、ご指摘の通りです。
それは市政を利用して私腹を肥やす行為なのではないですか？
かかるご懸念の発生はごもっともだと思います。ので、本議案の成立時には同問題を解消することを約束します。
解消とは？
市長職を辞し、兼職を解消するということです。
No way! I never would have guessed that she would resign. That's a big shocker to everyone in the room. Paulette drops a major bomb, causing murmurs to spread throughout the assembly.
それは順序が逆でしょう。営利のために公職を放棄するなどと。
交通のため、少なくともお人よにおいて鉄道は必要です。その維持管理のため、現状、私の能力は不可欠です。
なら、今すぐに辞職をすればいい。そんな半端な覚悟の市長に、お人よの舵取りは任せられない。
今私が辞任することは、 民意の放棄につながります。エアクラ工場誘致反対の一票への責任の放棄です。はい、そうです。青森の冬の風物詩ですね。
Where am I? Yeah.
今私が辞任することは民意の放棄につな
You
がり
already
ます。
said that.
エアクラ工場誘致反対の一票への責任の放棄です。
She does not waver, nor does Assemblyman Nitsu.
ですので、議案を成立させ、代替案を示すところまでが、私の議員としての最低限の責任であると考えます。
工場誘致反対さえ成し遂げれば、後の政治的責任は放棄するとおっしゃるわけですか？
市長選には、マイントレジャー計画推進を後継してくれる候補を立てます。
民意はそれで問い直せるわね。
不規則発言を禁止します。
He quickly stops the interruption. He makes no distinction whether it supports or opposes Paulette. The atmosphere of the assembly becomes more serious as the exchange between Assemblyman Nitsu and Paulette continues.
ご答弁をありがとうございました。
以上にて、新津議員の質問時間を終わります。市民の党、関原議員、質問をどうぞ。
関原です。
The old assemblyman stands up, with uneven footsteps. This person also opposes the building of the aircraft factory, but he's sharply glaring at Paulette today.
わしらね、市長。術先端校で昔働いていたとですよ。
My condolences. It seems that he doesn't care about the questioning time limit. Assemblyman Sekihara starts talking about the history of Jutsusen coal mine in a detached way. There used to be a town there where the people lived a plentiful life.
最短は国の基幹産業の一つと言われておりましてな。術船はその中でも10種に入る有料炭鉱だったとです。
Well, maybe if you were like top 5 coal mines, you wouldn't have shut down. A power plant and state-of-the-art facilities. He talks about the reasons why those were left behind. The Jutsusen coal mine was a much richer mine than we had thought.
石炭場不要になるとは誰も思うとらんかったとです。国も養蚕、補助金ば送り込んでくれました。
Perhaps only I noticed because I'm standing behind. But Paulette is sweating profusely along her neck. Could it be the lights? The air conditioning should be running fine.
ばってん、石油に追われ、石炭は不要になったとです。国は補助金ば打ち切って、手のひら返しよったとですよ。
術先炭鉱の会計資料については、私も確認させていただいております。
Paulette's voice is calm. That makes me all the more worried.
国から見捨てられた後はもう、下り坂を転げるようなもんだったとです。
She didn't say anything.
No.
She mumbled something. I could only faintly hear something. Her position is still the same, but sweat begins to drip off her neck. I knew that Paulette had the possibility of having this kind of anxiety. Regret climbs from inside my throat. I knew that, but I couldn't do anything. Even Kisaki clearly warned us that she had been straining herself physically. No, it's not that I couldn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I knew it, and left her to her own devices. I left her to own devices. Being busy is no excuse. business is how much load is placed on Paulette's shoulders.
この計画は面白かもんと思います。が、補助金頼りな点がどうにも気になりますけん。
頼ってなんて。
The abnormalities aren't limited to her body anymore.
それはもし補助金が出なくてもその採算きちんと取れるように。
Her knees are weak. Arms are heavy. Her legs are starting to shake violently, which is affecting her speech as well. What should I do? If I interrupt the assembly, that would be considered interference on Paulette's hearing. As long as Paulette does not ask for help, as long as the hearing continues, I can't support Paulette.
売り上げが想定より 10% 下がるだけで赤字転落。今見通しはどう見ても補助金頼りですとね。
大丈夫です。頼らなくても一人でも。
ポーレット。
Murmurs start to grow louder in the assembly. The observant ones probably already noticed something's wrong. Perhaps Assemblyman Sekihara doesn't notice, or perhaps he doesn't know. He does so knowingly. He continues on, indifferent.
今施設の維持ば難しかとですよ。いい時はいつまでも続きはしませんけんね。
Slowly, but yet surely, Paulette's shaking in her leg is spreading to the rest of her body. Her pale complexion becomes even whiter. It is now almost to a sickly color.
無理なら中断。答弁の中断を要求するんだ、ポーレット。
A whisper from the side. My voice shouldn't be heard by the others in the assembly. The only ones who did hear it are Paulette, the chairman, and the stenographers.
無理じゃないから私大丈夫頑張れるから。
Paulette answers me, but Assemblyman Sekihara takes that as part of the hearing.
わしらとて死に物狂いで頑張りに頑張りましたがの。
頑張れるから役に立つから。
言うても仕方のなかことですの。周りがそうと思うてくれにゃどうもならんけん。
I knew she was overworking herself and didn't do anything about it. I didn't have the courage to take a step forward to ask about her past. I realized that I'm the one who's been driving Paulette into a corner to the point that it's come to this. Then I...
落ち込み始めたもんはもうそら悲惨ですたい。誰も見向きもせんようになり、さらには厄介者ば言われて。
The scream feels as she's frozen. What? That scream feels as she's frozen. Paulette's face and body are completely stiff. Is this a court for anime? You're down bad. I'm not the one simping for the characters, alright? You're the one doing that.
ポーレット。
She falls forward. Like a tree cut with an axe, her legs grow weak, and she falls to her side.
市長。
間に合った。間に合ってます。抱き留めた。
I hold her in both my arms. I don't think she hit her head or body on anything. But Why is she so cold? I could feel the sensation in my hands. Paulette's body is like ice, with specks of cold sweat sticking to her.
暫時休憩。いや、関原議員の質問時間は終わりです。
ああ。
A powerless, worried nod. After seeing that, the chairman stands up.
本日の議会は終了します。次回日程は明後日13時から引き続き本議案の審議を行います。
What is she doing underneath the desk? Don't try to misinterpret the scene, alright? Maitetsu.
"だから、その件については悪かったと謝っている。
Why is it Sotetsu's voice actor, alright?
今さら謝ってもらっても、問題は何も解決しないわ。
Mama and Papa are fighting again. I'm so scared I can't move.
確かに解決はできていないな。お手伝いさんを入れねば、家事が回らないままだ。
回らないって。
Papa and Mama are talking in Japanese. I don't know exactly what they're saying. Yeah, but like, why did it have to be Sotetsu's voice actor? Right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm scared and sad.
私の家で家族です。ずっと丁寧に整えてきて、それをいきなりあんな女に。
Damn. I was like, as soon as I saw that Paulette's parents were arguing, I'm like, it's gotta be because he cheated on her, right? On her mum.
それは悪かった。が、出来合いの惣菜ばかりの、掃除もできていない食卓にポーレットをつかせたくは。
掃除も食事の準備も満足にできないのは、あなたが仕事をいきなり投げ出したからでしょ？
When Papa mentions my name, Mama becomes really mad.
相談もなしに立候補とか、会社を私に押し付けて、あなたは何でも一人で決めて。
何よ。エアクラ工場誘致計画はお人用を壊すとお前も反対していただろう。
それとこれとは話が別です。あなたの勝手に私もポーレットまで巻き込んで。
同じ話だ。誰も反対の旗を振らねばエアクラ工場誘致はなし崩しに行われていた。
Again, my name's called, and Papa is really angry. It must be because I'm still terrible at helping. I'm not as good as Mama.
ね、パパ、ママ。
はあ、ほら、あなたが大きな声を出すから、ポーレットが。
そうやって、お前はいつも私ばかりを悪者に。
何言って、私はいつでもあなたの味方を。どれだけ私が頑張ってるか。やめて、
パパ、ママ。
Japanese, I'm still not good with it. But I want Mama and Papa both to understand.
私、頑張るから、もっとお手伝いなる、上手から。
恥ずかしくないのか。こんなに小さなポーレットに汚れた家の責任を感じさせるなど。
だったらあなたが家事をすればいい。結婚した時は家事も半々って約束で。
だから私ができない分を代わりにと思ってお手伝いさんを雇ったんじゃないか。
嫌だったのよ。私の大事なこの家を赤の他人の手にいじられて。
その件は何度も何度も謝っている。だったら私にどうしろと言うんだ。
それは、こっちのセリフです。これ以上、私は、どうしたら。
No. No. Mama starts crying.
すまないとは思っている。それでも、ふるさとが、お人よが失われるのを放置など。
He's not visibly crying, but I know that Papa's crying on the inside. I'm scared. This isn't like the usual fights Papa and Mama have. It's very quiet. That's why I'm scared. It feels really bad. I just want them to stop. I said I'd try hard, and their fighting got worse. And I can't say anything. I stay still and wait for their fight to be over.
こうなる前から、少し考えていたんですけど。
何をだ。
I'm scared. I'm scared. Someone help. But when Papa and Mama fight, no one helps me. That's why I have to be quiet and work hard. As a useless child, I can just keep...
私、ポーレットを連れてフランクに。
ポーレットは私の娘だ。
Stop, 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 stop. Stop calling my name and fighting. So please come back. Please go back to the Papa and Mama who are nice to each other. And look at me, not just each other. Please talk to me. She's having a nightmare. She's been like this the whole time. All I can do is change the wet towel, making me feel pitiful. She outstretches her pale hand. No, she's wandering, looking for something to latch onto. Touching a sleeping woman isn't something a man should do, but... I didn't realize Paula had such a traumatizing past. Yeah, maybe you would have if you played more of the fucking game. Her fingers seem like they are begging for help. I would rather much be called a pervert. I would rather much be called a pervert. I would much rather be called a pervert than to let those fingers wander anymore. Rip.
大丈夫だ、ポーレット。無理をしてまで頑張らなくても大丈夫なんだ。
I hope that the heat from my hands is able to provide her with some warmth. That's how chilled Paulette's body is. She's under a summer blanket, but is still shaking.
大丈夫だ。少なくとも僕は味方だ。僕はここで望まれる限りそばにいる。
Her eyes open. Her teary eyes look at me. Which is why I maintain my grip. I can't just up and leave a crying girl.
悪い夢を見たのか。
Her expression softens and breaks into a smile. Her almost transparent paleness has somewhat alleviated. as she now has a more natural reddish hue.
そうてつくんだ。
I've got to change.
僕だ。
You sound exactly like Papa. She smiles. Her cold hands become slightly warmer. That in itself makes me happy too. But at the same time, it makes me want to cry for some reason. Perhaps because she's still sleepy. Her eyes gaze at me drowsily. I held Paulette's small pale hands in mine.
すまん。放っておけなかった。寝ているところに触れるなど、やっていいことでは。
いいです。全然いいことです。私、だって助かりました。
それは、夢の話か。
はい。ちょっと悲しい夢を見てたので。
そうか。
Her expression softens, relief visible on her face. A slight hint of loneliness is mixed in, though. A sense of guilt begins to overcome me.
だが、現実には、僕はまるきり、ポーレットの助けに慣れていなかった。医師の見立てでは過労だそうだ。
Paulette's arm goes limp. I let go of my grip, and her hand falls on top of the blanket without a sound.
すみません。迷惑かけて、心配もしてもらっちゃいましたよね。
無論だ。せぬわけがない。
I'm not doubting the good doctor's diagnosis, but I don't think this is just fatigue. When I told him in detail how Paulette usually is, his diagnosis still didn't change. A sharp decrease in immunity due to overwork of the mind and body, he said. Scars from the past are like shadows. You don't notice them when you walk briskly, but stand still long enough, like when you're tired, and the pitch black color swallows you whole. I'm the same. That's why I never want to stop. I always want to be moving, always working, always facing forward. But I can't run for all of eternity. I'll have to face my past, my scars sooner or later. Yeah, but you've already done that in you've already done that in Hachiroku's route.
そうてつくん。
ああ、
With Paulette so weak, I can't just up and ask about her past or emotional scars. I do regret that I didn't try to face the issue earlier, though. That said, I can't risk hurting Paulette more by being hasty.
今はともかく疲れを癒すことだ。
ですよね。倒れちゃったんですもんね。私。
She looks down at her body, and then looks surprised.
これ着替
ああ、枕姉がやってくれた。今は蔵の仕事があるゆえ、看病を僕が引き継いだ。
そうだったんですか。で、仕事。
She must have wanted to look at the clock. She tries to get up, and I stop her without having to use much strength.
大丈夫だ。何も心配することはない。
けど、
そのまま本会議は終了になった。次回は予定通りにあさって午後からの開催だ。
夕方の定時運行は
及ばずながら僕が86と組木原玲奈のを客車とさせてもらった。
ありがとうございます。
いや、礼を言われるようなことではないさ。
It's true. I had no right to be thanked. If I had done my job properly as secretary, she wouldn't have collapsed in the first place. But if I say that out loud, Paulette would just blame herself further, so I kept quiet. I would have to create a system right now. A way to reduce the load on Paulette, And also to prevent pushing that load onto someone else to bear.
ともかく、今は回復に専念することだ。腹は空いてないか？喉の渇きは？
She must be checking how her body feels. Bullet closes her eyes briefly.
両方欲しいみたいです。お水とそれとおかゆか何かがもしあれば。
水より白湯だな。粥は梅粥でいいか？
はい、ありがとうございます。
待っていろ。すぐ用意する。
Whoops. Marketer's still working. Hibiki's still out. Alright.
待たせたな。いや、少し待て。
I coax Paulette to lie back down and place the tray on the side for now.
倒れた身だぞ。急に動くな。どこかを痛めているかもしれん。
あ、そうかもですね。
起こすぞ。
She stretches a little, then moves her neck and appendages. Paulette then gives a sigh of relief.
どこも痛いところはないみたいです。で、
うん。飲む方か、食べる方か。
おさゆ、先にいただけますか？
わかった。
I place my hand on Paulette's back and put the cup to her lips. She makes a small exclamation, but then quietly starts to drink.
Mm.
あまり一気に飲みすぎるなよ。
I feel like an overprotective parent, but Paulette seems to be comfortable. I tap and rub her back, prompting her to smile, satisfied.
次は、かゆだな。自分一人で食べられるか？
どうでしょう。やっぱりどこか痛むと怖いし。
そうだな。安全策を取っておいた方が無難だ。
はい。
She sounds so happy. Paulette sits up straight.
それじゃ、お願いします。
うん。空。
空ってそんな、なんていうか、もう少し優しく。
なんだ、レイナの甘えっ子が映ったか？
I say that in a teasing manner, but quickly regret it. Her dependency on another is a manifestation of her weakness. Paulette just collapsed earlier. It was bad of me to feel embarrassed about it. These things, yes, these things should be done normally. How would she treat Reina? Thinking of that immediately gives me the best approach to take.
ならば、あーんか。
はい。
This is quite embarrassing. It's impossible for me to be. It's impossible for me not to be.
それはよかった。
すごいですよね、枕さん。何をやっても一流で。
いや、その梅がゆは僕だ。かゆならば、幼い頃からよく作っていたのでな。
あ、そうなんですか。これ、相鉄くんのお手製。
かゆくらいでお手製も大げさだろう。
いえいえ、
She doesn't continue. She just giggles a little, and then opens her mouth a bit wider than earlier.
もう一口。
うん。あーん。
Chomp. It felt as if she's going to swallow the spoon and my fingers too. Paulette gets some color back in her cheeks, breaks into a smile. and breaks into a smile. What? Why did he stutter in his head? Words can't describe how embarrassing this is. Because I'm lacking in vocabulary, I tend to just look at her, but staring at her... No, wait. I have to talk. The silence is making it all the more awkward for me.
下にあったようで何よりだ。
I say the first thing that comes to mind, and Paulette nods while looking up at me with glittery eyes.
舌に合うです。ほんとこれ、お味の方ももちろんですけど、
Chomp choo choo. Perhaps it's to savor it more, but Paulette closes her eyes briefly.
舌触りも、ほんと絶妙の火加減ですね、これ。べしゃっとしないで、でも、舌先ですぐにとろけて。
そうか。だが、
Conversation. When we exchange words, the less awkward this all feels.
時間を置けばどんどんべしゃっとしてしまう。無理なく食べられるようなら。
無理なんて、食べたらもっと私お腹空いちゃいました。
The conversation and the spoon take turns. She munches away smoothly. Like a sponge absorbing water, Paulette finishes the porridge.
満腹です。ほんと、美味しかった。ごちそうさまでした。
お粗末様。
It's cold now, but I hand the water to Paulette, which she downs quickly. She breathes a satisfied sigh and then stretches out.
お腹の中までポカポカしてて、ちょっと汗かいちゃいました、私。
Her back rounds a little. Her blue eyes look up at me.
甘えついでに、背中拭いてもらっちゃってもいいですか？
Bro, normal Paulette would be so embarrassed.
それはもちろん構わんが、枕姉はまだ仕事中だし。
拭いてもらうだけですから、平気です。
Paulette's fingers unbutton her shirt. I'm not doing all the sound effects. With her skin exposed, she covers her front side with her while her bare back faces me. She's pale like porcelain. This is what people call flawless skin. I've already seen her back in the bath, but this still feels like it's the first time. I haven't done that. I had thought that she'd be this beautiful.
体冷えちゃったらまた。
そうだな。
I want to fetch a hand towel and a wash ball in my room. I went to fetch a hand towel and wash ball in my room. Deep down, I sort of hoped that I'd come across someone, but it's apparent that I'm the only one here.
では、拭くぞ。
はい、お願いします。
Acting like a child is indicative of a certain amount of anxiety she must have right now. If we just talk, though, that embarrassment should go away, at least to a degree. I should take the two things I learned earlier and put them to practice pronto.
今日はポーレットには念のため検査を受けに行ってほしい。
はい、そうしなくちゃ。ダメですよね。
Every time I wipe the sweat off her snow white back, Paulette suppresses a cry.
くすぐったいのか？なら少し強めるが。
そうですね。少し強めでお願いします。
Phrasing, guys. Jesus Christ. Nah. Actually, her muscles are stiff. Amidst her soft skin, I can feel stiff, block-like parts on her shoulders, hips, and back.
少し押すか？
はい。もう少し強めだと。
Stop making these sounds. The stiffness is probably the result of her overworking herself. I wipe and try to massage out her trigger points at the same time. Guys, this is just a massage, alright? Nothing else is going on. Paulette is breathless, but she seems to be enjoying it. This feeling of accomplishment calms me for some reason.
それでだ、ポーレット。
何ですか？
現状、どう考えてもポーレットの負担が大きすぎる。が、今までそれをうまく分散できてなかった。
This is somewhat difficult to talk about, but it's something that must be said.
負荷を分散させなければ、今回のような事態はおそらく何度も繰り返される。
はい、そうですね。
そこでなのだが。
Supporting her on the political side isn't enough. Each and every one of Paulette's duties should be shared with someone else.
キハ・レイナナの乗務を僕にも担当させてはくれまいか。
You didn't even say yes or no.